Good morning, friends. Today we are going to continue with the science lesson. Why do we fall ill? So, in the previous two lectures, you have seen what is a healthy life, what is disease free, acute and chronic diseases, infectious and non infectious diseases. Yes, and we also learned how diseases are spread through vectors, through contaminated water, through air, and through sexual transmission. So we have almost done the cause of the diseases, and today we'll see how our body fights the diseases, how we can prevent and cure the diseases. So like we discussed yesterday, to cure a disease we should know the microbe that causes the disease and which chemical pathway is working for the microbe. We did yesterday the penicillin vaccine. It is the antibiotic. It does not let the bacteria make a cell wall around it. Because it cannot make a cell wall, it is weakened and the medicine can effectively kill it. Right? So today now we proceed with the lesson and we'll finish the lesson today. So the general effects of an infectious disease. Now before we go there, let us understand the immune system of our body. What is the immune system? It is the system of the body which helps us to fight against diseases and keep the body healthy. Right? So immune system is essential for our health. Very, very important. It is the defense system that protects our body against harmful microbes and pathogens. Now let me tell you something over here. The immune system is mostly the WBC. So WBC scans the body. It scans the body and searches things in the body. Now it has got a thing like a computer software, because there are a lot of elements in our body. The WBC should know which things are helpful to the body and which are harmful to the body. So there has to be a chemical mechanism. Yes, a chemical means to find out which microbes actually harm the body, and only those microbes should be killed. The immune system should not kill the healthy cells. The liver also, it kills the red blood cells after 120 days. So the older cells, means the cells which are weakened or are old, some of them have to be killed, but the WBC has to be careful that it only kills the harmful microbes and the pathogens and not the cells in the body which are necessary to the body. Now in the 10th you will come across a chapter called nanotechnology. So nanotechnology is things at a very small scale. So very, very small computers, yes, smaller than the size of the virus. So it is tried in many countries and it is still an experiment. They inject this microbes, this small nanotechnology computers inside the body. And this computer keeps on moving around the body, searching for different pathogens. And when it encounters, it immediately kills it by some mechanism given to it. So this is going to be the future, it seems, that we will not take the medicine after we catch the disease. We will have the medicine injected before we catch the disease, so that when the disease microbes enter the body, they will be killed before they can do harm to the body. So that is a big field in nanotechnology, making medicines at the nanoscale. But just now we'll do the normal, how the body behaves normally. Now what does an active immune system do? The active immune system first detects the microbe and then it helps the cells of the affected area. It helps them to kill the microbes. Yes? So the immune system has to first locate the microbe, in which part of the body the microbe is infected or some agent has come in, and then it has to give the response. This is called inflammation. So when a bee bites you, bee, honey bee, or an ant bites you, it is injecting a chemical inside your body. The ant injects formic acid, redent, and the honeybee insects melittin. But what we see here, this chemical is not the normal thing in the body. It has come from outside, and the WBC recognized it as a foreign element which needs to be eliminated. So in that area, the cells come together to give a response. So you can see sometimes the skin becomes red, and you also feel like itching that place. Now that itching comes because the chemical is gathered there to kill the microbes. Yes, sometimes it cannot just kill, it is just an effect for the defense, but it is not killed. Now since the sting of the ant formic acid is an acid in nature, we can use a base to neutralize the acid. So more of chemistry will come later, but I hope you are getting the idea. So when a honeybee bites you, there is a swelling. So why does that swelling come? It is the cells coming together to destroy that foreign element. So inflammation can lead to swelling, can also lead to pain, and sometimes some insect bites also lead to fever. Yes, that is the response of the body to eliminate the microbe. Also, you should know what is allergy. Do you know what is allergy? Yeah, before you go to allergy, what I told you, do you remember? The microbe enters the body, then the immune system will get activated. So when a microbe enters the body, the WBC which is roaming around in the body detects a foreign element which is not helpful to the body. So at once the immune system is activated. Yes? And who does that activation? The WBCs. They constantly keep scanning the body for microbes. So some are done by micropathogens. Now there are also allergens. So what are these allergens? These allergens cause allergy. So it doesn't come through a microbe, it can come through any harmless thing also. Now first of all, what is an allergen? An allergen is a material which causes allergy. So even in an allergic condition, our immune system becomes active and responds. Yes? So some people have got a specific allergy, will see what allergy is, but the body at once responds. Now allergy is what? It is the heightened sensitivity to foreign substance. What does heightened mean? In some people it is normal. Their body does not respond to that foreign element. But in some people who are very sensitive, the body at once starts reacting to the foreign element. Some people are allergic to peanut butter. Yes, when they eat peanut butter, they get allergy, red skin, rashes, or something like that. Some are allergic to pollen. When pollen dust they inhale, then they start sneezing and coughing, especially sneezing. Then there's also smoke allergy. People who got allergy to smoke, at once what does the immune system do? The nose starts to water. It tries to wash away the smoke particles, the pollen from the nose. So this is allergy. Some people are used to pollen. Now we got many people around us. Yes, there is pollen in the air. Pollen, yes, pollen in the air, and there is also smoke around. But not all people respond to this in the same way. Some people who are allergic, highly sensitive, their body at once starts to do what? Give a response. So when pollens or smoke particles enter the nose starts to water starts to run through the nose. That is the process that is trying to clean up the nose. So this is what allergy does, and the immune system also reacts to allergy. Now we'll move on to AIDS. Now AIDS is a disease which needs to be discussed with reference to the immune system. The full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So this syndrome, what does it do? The required deficiency, yes, the immune system in the body is weakened, it has now become deficient. Deficiency means no longer normal, lower than normal. So in the AIDS is called the disease. It is called by a virus called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Now what does this virus do? This virus reaches the immune system. Yes? And whom does it affect? It affects the WBC. The WBC is the white blood cells which fight against diseases. Now this virus has got a coding, and what will it do with the coding? It will enter the WBC and change the code. Now when it changes the code, then this WBC can no longer find any microbes or pathogens in the body. It is like a country has an army. The army protects the country. Now if somebody enters the army and turns the army against the country itself, then it becomes harmful for the country. So this is something like that only. The WBC, the cells, the virus enters the cells, changes the DNA, and now the WBC itself has become a virus. Since it has become a virus, it will no longer kill the other microbes and pathogens in the body. So the body has fully become weak. Yes. So the HIV weakens the WBC or destroys it. So now with the destroys WBC, the body cannot even fight minor infections. So like if you catch a cold, the cold will never be cured. Why? Because there is nothing in the body, no WBC in the body now to kill the cold virus. If you have got diarrhea, then it becomes very difficult to treat the diarrhea. The protozoan which causes direct diarrhea cannot be killed because the immune system of the body has become weak. So what happens? The sickness persists for a long time or may even lead to death. So AIDS is a very deadly disease. Not does it that it kills the person immediately, but it destroys the immune system of the body, the system of the body which has to fight against diseases. If there is nothing in the body to fight against diseases, the body can catch all the diseases and the person can become ill. There is another also, dengue, right? In dengue also what happens, the person, the WBC in the body becomes very low. At that time the person is very delicate, in a delicate condition. He should be kept in the house with proper quarantine, that nobody goes near him because the immune system is weak. Then there are tablets and medicines and even papaya leaves juice we drink to boost up the WBCs. When the WBCs reaches the normal count, only then the person can come out of the quarantine. Yes. So AIDS is a virus which what we say, AIDS is a virus which weakens our immune system totally. Now, severity of the disease. What does severity mean? How strongly has the disease affected us? It's called the severity of the disease. Now, microbes can enter in our body. Yes. So, microbes enter in our body. What becomes very important here is to see how many, the number of microbes which has entered the body. When the number is very low, it may or may not show any effect. Okay, it may or may not show any effect. Means it is too minor to be noticed because the microbes are less. But sometimes after they enter the body, the microbes start dividing and increasing in number. And when they cross a certain number, it can be severe enough and affect us badly. So when the number is small, the immune system can sometimes kill the microbes if they are small in number. Okay? So some microbes which enter the body, our immune system can effectively kill it. If it cannot kill, we take certain medicines. But even the dosage of the medicines, in which dose, 50 gram, 25 gram, 100 gram, that dose depends upon the number of microbes inside the body. So you have to take the specific medicines in the right number to kill these microbes. So a blood test is done, a urine test is done, and the amount of microbes in 1 ml of blood is found out, or in the urine it is understood how many microbes are there. If the number of microbes have become very high, then you need to take a higher dose. If it is low, you can take a lower dose, or the immune system itself will kill all the germs and protect the body. So this is the idea of the severity of the disease. Means how strongly has the disease infected the person. Yes. So now the disease can be organ specific and tissue specific. Okay. Means it affects an organ or a tissue, and that depends upon the ways, various ways the microbes enter our body. Now, if they enter through the nose, when they enter through the nose, they are likely to reach the lungs. So the microbes in the air which enter through nose reaches the lungs. So tuberculosis bacterium, that is TB, affects the lungs and it enters the body through the nose. Now if this enters the body through the stomach, there is very less chance that it will affect the person. Why? Because it has to reach the lungs, and it is easier to reach the lung through the nose than the windpipe and the lungs. Yes, it is easier that way. If it enters through mouth, now through the food or water, then it will instantly reach where? The stomach or the intestine. For example, typhoid causing bacteria. So typhoid is what? An infection of the stomach or the intestine, right? So this bacteria will go inside the stomach. Now stomach is slightly acidic in nature. Our stomach releases HCl, dilute hydrochloric acid. So it is acidic, it may kill the germs. But if the germs reach the intestine, which is basic or alkaline in nature, then there this bacteria start dividing very rapidly, and it gives us diarrhea, loose motions, etc. Because the alkaline medium, yes. So the stomach is acidic where the germs may be killed, but the small intestine is alkaline in nature. So if the microbes reach there, they divide very rapidly, and a condition can become very severe. So that at that time a high dose of medicine has to be taken. Now sometimes from the food through the blood the microbe may even reach the liver, and if it reaches the liver it causes jaundice. Jaundice affects the liver in such a way that the liver cannot function properly, and liver is doing what? Killing the red blood cells, yes, and other things. So the red blood cells which are killed, they develop more bilirubin, so the urine becomes yellow or slightly reddish in color, and the eyes also become yellow. So this is the effect of jaundice. So here we are seeing that how the microbe enters, through which way. Entering the nose will affect the lungs, entering the mouth will affect the stomach or intestine, or sometimes even the liver. Now if they enter through sexual contact, then through the blood they can reach the lymph node. So HIV enters through sexual contact and reaches the lymph node. Lymph node is where all the WBC is circulating. So it affects the WBC and kills down our immune system. Now, some insect like mosquitoes. So if they enter through mosquitoes, it will enter the blood and then reaching the specific organ, it causes malaria. Okay, but some insect bites transfer the microbes that will reach the brain through the blood. The blood flows throughout the body everywhere. So the Japanese encephalitis virus causes brain fever. So you can see when it enters in a certain way, it reaches the organ. But when it enters blood, now blood is flowing throughout the body. So it is going through all the organs. So sometimes the microbe enters but does not affect immediately. It flows inside the blood till it reaches the specific organ, and then it affects the organ. Yes? So these are the organ specific and tissue specific manifestations of the disease. What does manifestation mean? When the disease starts to show. Now we move on to the principles of treatment. Yes? So once you catch the disease, how will you treat the disease? So treatment is done in two ways. One, to reduce the effect of the disease. Just reduce the effect. So when you got a disease, the doctor gives you various kinds of medicine. One medicine is to do what? Is to kill the cause of the disease, the microbes. But till this medicine can kill all the microbes, the body has to recover. There may be pain in the body, there will be fever in the body, the person will lose motions. So treatment has to be done dually. While the microbes are being killed, the body also has to reduce all this effect. So first effect is to reduce the effect of the disease. So medicines that bring down fever, yes, some specific medicines to bring down fever, then reduce pain or reduce the loose motions. Yes, why we should stop loose motions? So that the food remains in our body and we can conserve energy. Yes, conserve energy. So this is basically to reduce the effect of the disease. Till when? Till the microbes get killed. But who will kill the microbes? To kill the microbes, you have to take specific medicine that can kill the microbes. So you have to kill the cause of the disease. So medicines that kill the microbes will give us complete recovery, but that will take time. So till this occurs, we have to take this medicines to reduce the effects. And like I told you, depending on the severity, the right dosage is important. That depends upon the number of microbes in the body. If the microbe number is high, the dose has to be high. Microbes number is low, dose can be low. For example, we have seen yesterday, antibiotics are taken against bacterial diseases. There are also drugs to kill protozoans such as the malarial parasite. The malarial parasite is Plasmodium vivax, I told you yesterday, and a special medicine called quinine. Quinine kills the malarial parasite, and quinine is found from the bark of the cinchona tree. Okay, remember, this is very important information. Now, viruses. These are a stage between living and non-living. Now, viruses are very, very dangerous. They do not have biochemical mechanisms. So since there is no biochemical mechanism, we cannot identify and kill it. So it is difficult to kill viruses with medicines, very difficult. But there are now effective drugs to keep the virus under control. You can never kill a virus completely, but you can keep it under control. Why the virus cannot be killed? Because the virus is mostly non-living. Only when it enters a living cell, it becomes living. But then in killing the virus, we also have to kill the cell. Yes? Viruses are actually RNA, that is a coding material. It has no body. It enters a living cell and then changes the DNA, and now the cell itself becomes a virus. So if the medicine tries to kill the virus, then it has to first kill the cell. So if you kill the cells of the body, you know what happens? The body can become very weak, or eventually the body can also die. Now the principles of prevention. So we have seen the treatment, now the prevention. Medicines and proper treatment cure most of the diseases, but before the cure there are some disadvantages also. In a disease, some body functions can damage. When the microbes enter the body and proper medication is not done, it can damage the organ in such a way that it can never recover completely. So this is one very, very important thing you have to see. If the microbes enter the body and you take timely medicine, timely cure, then your body may be recovered. But sometimes it affects in such a way that the organ may get damaged and may never recover completely. Okay? Secondly, till the person recovers completely, he may be bedridden. Means he has to stay in the bed. Now when the person stays in the bed, does not get proper exercise, also going to the washroom and toilet and everything becomes very difficult. So at that time the person has to be bedridden, and the infectious person can also spread the disease. So for these reasons we believe prevention is better than cure. Even though we have got medicine for malaria and even dengue now, we can still prevent from getting malaria by doing what? By killing mosquitoes. Means we should not allow mosquitoes to breed. So in the rainy season now, there must be water filled outside everywhere where the mosquitoes breed. So the first thing we do is move around the house and see which places the water has collected. Immediately we remove the water and throw it away and let the place dry. You can put nets in the house so that mosquitoes cannot enter. You can use mosquito coils and all outs, or use even Odomos, yes, so that the mosquitoes are repelled and do not bite you. If the mosquitoes don't bite, then you will not have malaria and dengue. Even though there is a cure, it is better to prevent from getting the disease, yes? Then our body can remain healthy and we can have a normal, healthy life. So that is the principles of prevention. Boil the water before drinking, I told you yesterday. Contaminated water can cause typhoid and cholera. So always boil the water before drinking. These are the preventions that we can always take. And now wear a mask, sanitize your hands, keep social distancing. These are the ways to prevent from getting the COVID-19 virus. Now, how to prevent the disease? The general ways is public hygiene. Keep your surrounding neat and clean. Keep your house neat and clean. Yes, the society has to work together as a unit to keep it neat and clean. Wherever water is collected, then you can cover it with stones or something so that mosquitoes don't breed. That is one way, public hygiene. Second is a strong immune system. So eat food which has got vitamins and minerals and proper proteins. Yes, vitamin C boosts the immune system. Even vitamin D. Vitamin D we get from sunlight, and vitamin C we get from citrus fruits. Because a strong immune system can kill the microbes entering our body. So a strong immune system comes through proper diet, yes, pure water, and fruits also. Fruits give us vitamins, and citrus fruits gives us vitamin C. Sunlight gives us vitamin D, which is necessary for a strong immune system. It boosts immunity. Like I told before, a balanced diet, proper food, not too much of junk food. When food is taken in the proper amount, no overeating also, then it will boost the immune system. So a strong body is in a more better condition to fight the microbes than a weaker body. You can even drink milk daily because milk is also good for the body. Okay, now there is a method called vaccination. Yes, small babies are given a vaccination. What is vaccination? This is the answer. What is vaccination? This is an answer. It is the process of injecting dead or weakened microbes. So we are purposely entering some dead microbes cannot infect a person. So these dead microbes or weakened microbes are entered in the body of a healthy person. So what happens when these microbes enter the body? The immune system at once detects those microbes and it generates an antibody against the microbe. Now this antibodies will stay in the body forever. So in future if the real microbe comes in, then this antibody can kill the microbe immediately. So that is called vaccination, the process of injecting dead or weakened microbes in the body of a healthy person. So this will develop immunity. How again? When you enter the dead microbes, these microbes cannot affect. But when you inject a dead microbe inside the body will at once detect the microbes. And when they detect the microbes, what will they do? They will generate an antibody. And this antibody remains in the body for the whole lifetime. So in future, if this microbes, real microbes enter the body, the living ones, there is antibody already present in the body which will immediately kill the microbes. Okay, now that I told you the answer. When an immune system first encounters the microbe, when it first encounters the microbes, it responds by developing an antibody. And then it remembers this microbe. The antibody will remember the microbe. So if it enters the body again, the antibody will completely destroy the microbe. The first vaccine was discovered by Edward Jenner against smallpox. There's a very interesting story if you try to find out. Edward Jenner was a doctor treating smallpox and he did a very good observation. He saw that some people they are not getting the disease of smallpox. Who are they? You need to find out. It's a very interesting story. You can go on the internet and check it out. How Edward Jenner found out the first vaccine against smallpox. But from then onwards, we have found a lot of other vaccinations. Some I will discuss right now. We have got a vaccine against diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. Yes, you don't need to remember these diseases, but just remember the name of the vaccine is called DPT. Tetanus you get, it's a bacteria which enters the body and can cause gangrene inside the body. So whenever you get hurt by some, yes, when you get a wound by a metal or rusted metal or through a stone, then you should take a tetanus injection immediately. So the vaccination is effective only around 6 months. but this is given to a baby when the baby is small. Then we have got a poliomyelitis, this is OPV. You notice polio now? In this disease, the legs of the person remain weak and the person may become lame for life. So small baby is also given the polio virus. And India has successfully eradicated polio from the country. But the virus, like we said, is still in the air, so the vaccination has to be constantly taken. If you do not take care, the virus may again start affecting people. Then we have got the hepatitis B virus, and we have got a BCG virus for TB. But this had to administer it when the baby is quite small. Vaccines have to be provided at a proper age. Now, the hepatitis virus can be transmitted through water. Yes? So, if one contracts the virus, then this vaccine is no longer useful. So, you have to give the virus after a certain age but before 5 years of age, so that the baby can develop immunity against this virus. If given once you catch the virus, then this vaccination is of no use. So here we end the lesson today. Why do we fall ill? In 3 lectures we have discussed a lot how the diseases are caused, what are the diseases, what causes them, how to prevent them, how they are classified, what medicines to take, and so on. So we are ending this lesson here today, and we'll now start another lesson very soon. Even I taken a test today, I will provide the marks very soon to you. So I hope you understood the lesson, and from now on you will take proper care and proper precaution. Yes, please do that to remain healthy. Okay, thank you.